Hey guys, we will now understand different types of organizational patterns that we can use in the body of our speech. When I say organizational, what I mean is the way I can structure my speech. There are 6 types and I will name them one by one and also try and give examples so that you understand in which context you can use which pattern. The first pattern is called as cause and effect pattern. As the name suggests, yes, the logic is very simple. Since X happened, Y occurred. A beautiful example that I can think of is around mobile towers and decreasing sparrow numbers. As far as I know, in terms of data, there are at least 8,000 to 12,000 mobile towers installed by various networks in Bangalore across the city. These are of different capacities, considering there is 2G, 3G and 4G and whatnot coming in. As a result of these mobile towers, the amount of infrared rays that are spreading across the city and maybe even beyond the city, not only urban but even rural parts of Bangalore, is increasing drastically. As a result of which, sparrows are decreasing in numbers drastically always. This not only infers that there is a decrement in the sparrow number, but it is also hinting at how the entire ecosystem, of a city like Bangalore, which was also called as Garden City of India, is drastically changing. As a result of which, ecosystem is varying over a period of time, and that is a matter of concern. To quickly simplify for your understanding, because of the increase in number of mobile towers, decrease of sparrows and therefore environmental effects are increasing. So because there is X, there is Y that is happening. This was an example to substantiate a cause with an effect, and depending upon the topic we can choose if cause and effect style of organizing your pattern will be useful for you to be able to give in an effective speech. The second organizational pattern would be problem and solution. If this is the problem, this is the best solution that I feel will work for us. That's what it means. Let me give you an example. In the city of Mumbai, traffic snarls is something very, very common, and obviously then the problem is traffic jams in the center of the city, becoming one major cause for delays in everything that we intend to do during the day. So, having understood the problem statement or the problem clearly, we will then try to understand what would be or what are the possible solutions and which one would be the best solutions. For your understanding, I will just pick up one solution. So the Mumbai Municipal Corporation decided to conduct an experiment where they decided to have timings for a specific type of vehicle entering into the city. They decided to not allow trucks or any heavy vehicles of similar types to enter the city after 7 o'clock or to exit the city after 7 o'clock. So as a result of this, what happened is the amount of traffic came down by certain percentage, and that actually helped at least the central parts of Mumbai to move in at a faster pace. So here, if we've understood it right, the problem was traffic jams in the center of the city, and the solution was by not allowing heavy vehicles entering into the city after a specific time. And yes, to ensure that there is substantiation, we use facts and figures in terms of something like this has worked to be able to solve the problem, and I feel this is the best solution. The third one would be a logical organizational pattern. This method involves breaking the broad topic into smaller subtopics and being able to explain these one by one. And yes, also help the audience understand how these will play an important role to be able to fulfill the main idea. For example, I will take an instance of our own course, and let's say that the broad topic that I am going to be talking on using a logical method would be, let me take an instance from our own course. I can communicate with confidence, and the broad topic that I can pick up, for me to give you an example, would be vocal variety. Vocal variety is how my voice needs to have different elements and how each element is important. The subtopics would obviously be rate of speech. So this means how fast or how slow am I speaking, and are people who are right in front of me being able to capture whatever that I am speaking. Second would be use of pausing. Am I pausing at the right time and right juncture? Third would be tone. Depending upon the topic, what tone to use and what not to. Fourth could be pitch. Strong pitch, low pitch, or high pitch. Depending upon the topic and the audience that we are talking about, or we are talking to, we can decide what kind of pitch to choose. And yes, volume being one of the key things, when to increase your volume or when to decrease. Having understood this, the intent of having a logical organizational pattern would be to be able to explain different parts of a bigger topic and how each part plays an important role to be able to contribute to the bigger topic which is under discussion. Fourth pattern would be spatial or geographical. This is essentially the physical place or a demography that we are talking about. And I would share one of my favorite examples, which is around my experience of having cycled from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. When we are talking about spatial pattern, yes, we are trying to mention various locations or geographies of the specific topic that is under discussion. I started my trip from Kanyakumari and cycled all the way to Mumbai, and then to Chhattisgarh, and then to Haryana, and then headed towards Kashmir. This was a fantastic experience that I had because I got a chance to meet a lot of people from across the country, from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, and that helped me get a lot of exposure on how I can interact with different people at different levels and in different languages or maybe accents. This is called as a spatial pattern and can be used depending upon what the topic is like. The fifth pattern is time or chronology, and as the name suggests, it's essentially step-by-step process of approaching a topic. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you've been asked to deliver a TED talk on how to cook Maggi, and this is how you would create your body of the topic that you're going to deliver. So step 1 would be to read instructions behind the Maggi cover. Step 2 would be, having read the instructions, you would boil water in a small pan. Having boiled water, depending upon what are the vegetables you intend to put in the Maggi packet, you'll cut all the vegetables and put them into the water. Step 3 would be to be able to put the Maggi noodles. Now that the Maggi has started boiling, we will then add the Maggi masala and continue to stir till it looks that it's cooked. And here we have our Maggi ready. This is a chronological way of explaining the step-by-step or the flow of how do we cook Maggi. And similarly, depending upon the topic, you can choose a chronological pattern to be able to explain your flow of thought around a specific topic. The last organizational pattern would be advantage and disadvantage. While we have to be able to explain a topic or deliver a speech, if there is this positive and negative angle that we need to give about the specific topic, then yes, we can use this method, which is advantage, disadvantage. Let me quickly give you an example of, say, drinking coffee. Yeah, there are positives and negatives. Advantages would be that coffee plays a fantastic antioxidant role, and yes, it also helps us regulate our blood pressure. Whereas disadvantages or the negative sides of having coffee would be our body takes almost 8 hours to be able to process caffeine which was there in our coffee. So what? Yes, it results in sleeping disorders like insomnia. Drinking coffee also results in yellowing of teeth, which is one of the concern areas with most of us. Having understood this, advantage disadvantage method of pattern can be used in places where we need to add the positive and negative angle of a specific topic. All in all, quickly, let me summarize 6 different organizational patterns for our better understanding. First one would be cause and effect. Second one would be problem and solution. Third one would be logical. Fourth one would be time or chronological. Fifth one would be spatial or geographical. And finally, sixth one would be advantage and disadvantage. With this, we come to the end of the entire session, and I'm sure you would have got a fair understanding of what are the important parts while you create your speech, how do you outline your speech, and most importantly, what are the different organizational patterns.